I'm so tired. Normally, Passover here at the high priest's house, it's usually nice and peaceful. But not this year. Not since that Jesus of Nazareth came to town. A couple of days ago, a man named Judas showed up at the gate, and I let him in and escorted him to my master. And there he said for 30 pieces of silver, he would hand Jesus over to them. They would know who to grab when he greeted Jesus with a kiss. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. You know, the guards brought Jesus in, and my master and the elders and the teachers of the law, they were all there waiting to question him. And they asked him all sorts of questions, trying to catch him. But you know what? They couldn't find him guilty of anything. And I could tell they were getting frustrated. So all of a sudden, my master looks at him and says, "Tell me, are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" And the man just looked at him. He looked at him and said, "You say it is so. But let me tell you this, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the Mighty One of God, coming on the clouds." I almost dropped my wine pitcher because I realized that he was saying that he as a human would sit right next to God. But my reaction, it was nothing compared to my master's and the rest of the men in the room. They spat on him, they beat him, they slapped him. They were so mad because no one can claim to be God. In fact, if you claim to be God, you have to die. Jesus hurt, but it was only the beginning. When I headed back to the kitchens to refill my jug, I noticed that there was an odd man sitting next to the fire with all of the guard. This man looked familiar, and I realized that I had seen him with this man called Jesus. So you know what? I realized that he must have sneaked in with all the soldiers when no one was looking. I marched right up to him and I said, You were with him. I know you were." And you know what he said? He denied it. He swore up and down that he didn't know who the man was. I couldn't believe it. I noticed that he walked over to the gate, and when he did, my friend Dara went up to him and said, You are one of those Galileans." He said, "Absolutely not." He denied it again. I went to fill my jar, and I headed across the courtyard again, and I noticed that some men had cornered this man, and they were saying, "You talk just like that Jesus of Nazareth. You must be with him." He denied it again and swore up and down and cursed the men who were talking to him. But then the rooster crowed, and his eyes got big, and his face went pale. He looked at Jesus, and Jesus, bruised and beaten, looked at him. And then the man ran out of the courtyard. After that, my master sent the Nazarene on to Pilate to be sentenced to die on a cross. Pilate's soldiers weren't any kinder to him. They put a robe on him. They placed a crown of thorns on his head. They beat him and teased him and insulted him. They mocked him and called him the King of the Jews.